overwhelmingly glad we are to be your father.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Back again. Welcome to our program On Target. Remember that number to call is 442-0175. You can start this program by introducing your own subject matter. We're on Real FM 91.9, 91.5. We're on We Noise FM 94.9 in Brooklyn, New York. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. But we encourage you to subscribe, like, and share our program. Give us a like. It's important. The present media, the medium that we use is important for you to recognize that you're using it. That is important for us. Now, today, as usual, we always encourage those who participate in our program. You have an opportunity to introduce topic. You may not agree with the topics that we speak on, and you may hear certain things with great regularity, but you can introduce a new topic. The political dynamic in Grenada is always dynamic. You have religious issues, you have issues of social and economic issues. You have issues of agriculture. You have CARICOM heads of government that meet on a regular basis. I am not satisfied with our CARICOM leaders. I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. They're not doing an excellent job. They're just doing a good job. Our CARICOM leaders, they have a lot of experience in CARICOM. You have Rav Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of Trinidad. Mia Mottley has been in politics since she's 25 or 26. I think she became the Attorney General in Barbados. So she has been in politics a long time. The issues some of the issues in CARICOM that stunting growth, one of them is a hurricane. Every year, when June comes around, people start to get uncomfortable because we're in hurricane season. Jamaica, if you remember what went on in Jamaica, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, Trinidad has not been severely affected by hurricane. Barbados, not so much, and etc. But CARICOM, when CARICOM meets, I find CARICOM is not focusing. And some of you, we have to call on our leaders to zero in on some of the issues that stunting growth and creating havoc with our economy. When a hurricane passes and 20, 25, 50 or more % of the houses crash, that's a serious traumatic situation, psychologically, physically, and economically, both for the individuals and the country. You cannot be living in a hurricane belt and you're doing things by guess. I believe we can build low-income houses made from wood and limited concrete that could withstand Hurricane 4 or 5. I believe that. I strongly believe that. I've advocated measures to be taken among my rum shop people and my colleagues. But I believe CARICOM must summon our architects in the Caribbean to come up with models of houses that can withstand a category 3 or 4 or 5 hurricane. More often than the exception, what we have is a category 3 or category 4 hurricane. We have to able to build low-income houses that can withstand the hurricane. If you notice, most times a hurricane passes the roof gone. The roof of the house supposed to be bolted down to the foundation. Let me repeat that. The roof of the house should be bolted down to the foundation. CARICOM leaders summon the architects for a model of house that could withstand that type of force wave. Japan is a earthquake-prone belt. Yes, caller, welcome.
Okay, good day.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, I was mentioning about restorative justice and what the present government is doing. and like people didn't take serious about it. But now the Prime Minister come mention about restorative justice. What he had to do that only if you only know who is who. Is the people, because you say LMP only get work because you don't know it's them. So the guys always call you and tell you why you're crying on the Prime Minister. So I guess no, you should call and explain that to you. Why? Because the man come out direct and say it. None of they say no. He say it. So you're crying all the time and say restorative justice. Explain that to the people. Tell the people why restorative. The revolution passed, they never had restorative justice. And you're saying that over and over and over and over, and finally, Prime Minister finally come and expose it to himself. I don't know if he gets so nice in the crowd. He just explain himself now what it's all about. So I guess people know don't have to doubt you anymore. Whoever else who doubt you before, this guy does. I tell you, this is university and radio, you know. And only the truth are prevail. So take care, Mr. Pierre. Have a good day.
Yes, scholar, and we must live in the house of truth. I've been studying this Prime Minister from day one because very early, because I say I express my opinion on any issue. I'm not neutral. I take side all the time. And as a result of that, I've angered other people. They ask my opinion, I give them my opinion, and then they're angry. My partner come across and I say, what happened to you? He beat his wife. So he hit his wife. He didn't beat her, but he hit her. I said, how you could hit your wife? You can't hit your wife. You have 2 master's degree. You can't hit your wife. I say, if you have 2 master's degree and you have 1 woman and you have to beat her, something wrong with you. You must able to practicalize your certification in life. You have African have 9 wives. They want more. They don't beat them. You have 1 little wife. So you see, they asked me about Deacon, and after about a couple months, 6 months studying Deacon, I come to the conclusion that we have a fake. Deacon is a fake. This Prime Minister tell more lies in 2 years than all other Prime Ministers put together in history. Now, what happened to us as a people? 50 years after independence, our Prime Minister, I don't know if he take money, I don't know if he's cash account, I don't know. But if you have a third party dictating your foreign affairs or seriously influencing your foreign affairs, something is wrong. When you ask these questions, the NDC hot shots or the politicos in NDC, the apologists, they come after you personally. Now, why in Grenada could we agree now? For them, the Prime Minister, the government, it seems that the government, in collaboration with the police, is using drones to intimidate a radio personality to which Simon says. How could you agree with that? I spoke about the restorative justice. Now the Prime Minister saying the only reason they're getting work and other things is because they don't know who the real NDC is. I expect a hue and cry. It doesn't surprise me because the worst is to come. Every time this Prime Minister is relaxed and comfortable, you read into what he says. He was excited with the massive crowd that the NDC had. So he let go again. This Prime Minister, with a few of them, deceive even NDC members. They deceived them. They told them that it was transformation. They excited them. And transformation generally means dramatic change or change. And it doesn't mean it's something sudden. It could come over a period of time. When somebody come down in from New York and they spend 40 years and come down in Grenada, they're shocked to see the advances we have made. Somebody come from England that spend 40 years, when they come in Grenada, they're shocked to see the advances that we made. When the women come, they see all women wearing winter boots in summer. And they're outdressing them. They see so much hair from China and they never believe, they think Grenada have a hair factory. And to them, that is a dramatic change. Now the Prime Minister lied. The Prime Minister sat down with a few of his people and deceived Grenadians, told them that we're going to be transformative. All the time, It was restorative justice. I pointed out that. Last time I had to do a program, why is it I'm critical of Deacon? Some of my NDC friends want to maul me. They say you're attacking Deacon too much. Give him time. I say, well, Deacon is 47, 48 years. What time he need? Deacon wanted to sell himself as if he's young. Well, Kit Mitchell came in politics at 24. Emmeline Pierre, 27, 26. Eric Gary, married at 27 and in politics. Married to Cynthia Gary. Maurice Bishop died at 39. Nadia Benjamin and Whipple Ned married young people with children when they go in politics. Deacon go at 47 and people say young. While there was crying a hue and cry in Grenada because Kit Mitchell old, he must come out of politics. I see people plus 67 going in politics for the first time. Many decades ago, one old man tell me Grenada doesn't obey logics. Over the years, we've been looking at it. He said Grenada don't obey logics. The individuals who was consider themselves as the champion of morality, accountability, and transparency, they lost their ability to speak. You saw what Deacon did with the GDB Bank. That should be a shocker for Grenada. The procurement rules change it from 15,000 to 100,000. One minister that gave his landlord a contract for 90,000 plus. The landlord subcontract it for 50,000 and the contractor finished it in 1 week. I ain't saying 4 days, I find 4 days too short. He finished it in 1 week. The level of corruption that is in Grenada now, we have never ever had that. I've said all the time Maurice Bishop is a criminal, and I believe that. But you would never hear me say Maurice Bishop was corrupt. Because Maurice Bishop did this crime because of ideology. Not because he was greedy for money. Throughout the revolution, all the PRA you could have found, it wasn't that it was greedy for money. They did things because in the name of ideology. If you're not supporting me, you're a counter-revolutionary and you go turn back the revolution and you're a CIA agent and this nonsense. But this group is a corrupted bunch. They're promoting classism. Because of that, there is a lot of Grenadians that believe they're better than other people. Why do you think some communities they're going forward? You have some communities that fall in the lower socioeconomic grouping 20, 30, 40 years ago. Government have invested immensely in personnel from this community. They have associate degree, master's degree, PhD, doctorate. But the community still remains in the lower socioeconomic grouping. The community is still not changing. Because once these individuals get rich, higher loaning, they abscond from the community. Some of them not even helping their own family. I told you about the dentist in Ticolo. One dentist the primary school in Ticolo produced. They have a few lawyers and about 3 doctors. One dentist. She never come back in Ticolo. She run into the office in St. George's. She sees children teeth rattling. Not even in the school. She don't coming back. I tell you about Tilita data. We could do much better in Grenada. And I always quote Pope John Paul II, I believe. He said, don't invest in tertiary education at the expense of primary and secondary education. Most our governments put a lot of emphasis on tertiary education. The people you train, they don't come in back in Grenada. The majority of them. I don't know which island scholar of ours that went away and come back immediately after the study. We sent a lot of people to study medicine prior to the revolution. Most of the people we sent and study don't come back. We had Dr. Japal and Dr. Otway and Dr. Gibbs, the parents that send them and study. They used the parents' money to educate them. They came back. The revolution sent a number of people in the Eastern Bloc countries. Well, they must come back. Because if you want to make a capitalist, send him in Cuba. Those Grenadians that go in Cuba, they don't even go back in Cuba on holiday. They want to go in America on holiday. Communist country makes capitalists. So they must come back in Grenada. And some of them find it difficult to go quick. Some of them stay here. So all these medical doctors we training, they're not staying in the country. Because they believe, they say, they have the culture that we can pay them. But we educated them. They have a responsibility, a duty, and a moral obligation to come back and develop the country. We have 6 medical doctors from Moya Bridge to Dunfermline. I'm absolutely certain that the people in the community, maybe 1 or 2 they might see, and they don't know the rest. Now, how are we going to develop this community? And now we have a prime minister that is establishing classism in our country. We always have classism, but over the years, we have been watered down in that phenomenon. We have been significantly reducing it. Even if people was there, they start to change their mentality. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
How you doing, man?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, listening to this guy, Sunday, what came from this, it's frightening, Mr. Pierre. A brother had called the show and said I've been calling him names and, well, yes, based on what he said in the Rowdy on Sunday, that does bring me to what I have to say. Mr. Pierre, listen what happened there. Mr. Pierre grew up in a community. Infrastructure, government money didn't used to spend it. Thank God we was blessed with 2 wells where we get the water.
By St. George's or St. David's?
Now up in the country, passing high super right where your house is going up in best to you know what I'm talking about now?
Okay,
I come out up there.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Pierre. The community where I come out, I didn't know no millionaire inside it. We only used to get a submit to eat on a Sunday, which I consider now healthy eating. So just to tell you how it was like with us in that community. Mr. Pierre, I never hear my grandmother or anybody in the community to complain. And yet still they make contribution over the years, Mr. Pierre. Here goes now. I have to listen. A leader telling his supporters they have to choose out who party loyalists to get what he's talking about handout. What if you're going to put it so, Mr. Pierre? That shows he won't develop the infrastructure that everybody, the infrastructure of the country, that everybody could enjoy the resources of the country. That shows they could be singling out certain people, which is party loyalists, to get something from the government. So, Mr. Pierre, here we goes now. As poor people children, with what he said now, what we just sit back and say now. Okay, if he say going to be, okay, we're going to get our share regardless to what. Willing or not, we're going to get it, and what we're going to be like. Mr. Pierre could be so more dangerous, even that his party loyalists, they could be choosing out community in Grenada where they know NMP have strong supporters to victimize them.
What is the name they say call him on radio?
Well, I just call him Mumu.
Mumu?
Yeah.
Well, there is a little thing. We see him as a vulture. We see him as poor people terrorist and a master deceiver. And now we're going to add he's a political criminal. If a prime minister or politician could publicly inform his people that the only reason them others getting something because we don't know who the real MDC is, that is a
Mr. Pierre,
crime.
Mr. Pierre, that's what I'm talking about. Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something. He hardly, Mr. Pierre, a good leader going to be somebody like, I put it like that, Mr. Pierre. I could do something, but then when I look at the other side, I'm going to say, no, if it's me, I wouldn't like it. So why do it here? We need somebody like that. You see, Dr. Kit is like somebody. He's somebody like that. The Imani program could testify that it gives the poor people children a chance to excel. It gives us a chance to come out in poverty. And not only that, Dr. Kit is a smart man. You know, the more educated the population is, the job became much easier. We go eat healthier. We go think healthier. Everything go be. We go eat the jobs. What the country go create will be more beneficial for everybody because the population is educated, and that's where the money program comes for poor people children. And here goes look at this guy, man. Look at this guy, man. Let me tell you something, man. I love education. I have common sense, and you can make a fool out of me. He can make a fool out of me. I go look at this guy and consider one thing I could see. Oh, I won't go this far, Mr. Pierre.
No. Never lose your patience. Yes. Yes, in this political dialogue, we must never lose, we mustn't get too emotional. It's something we have to constantly explaining to NDC members that the direction they're going is too fractious. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, I know, you're saying confession is good for the soul. Right? And what is in the mind? In mind, from the mind to the heart, and from the heart to the mouth speaketh. And exactly what the Prime Minister said. This is what they're doing. Right? But he had to come and make it known to the public.
That is a policy. We've been trying to show that a long time.
That's the policy. That policy. You need every vote for it to win. Right? So what he's saying is...
But they say they won with a certain percentage of votes. So their view is, once we continue on that policy, we're going to win.
They go win. Yeah. So then only the had and the NDC supporters, right? That make them win. Yeah, independent supporters all over the country, all over the world go. And then them don't make a difference.
But a few number, perhaps.
Yeah, but 2 or 5 votes make a lot. That different in winning or losing. You make a lot. So you need everyone. And we
have had some bad governments in the world, you know.
Yeah,
remember, and sometimes people underestimate that. Mm-hmm. And Grenada have had some weak leaders. Grenada have had Morris Bishop that jailed 3,000 people was in prison. So it's only 2 leaders in Grenada. Whether you like it or not, the facts, the history is there that make a genuine attempt at great personal sacrifice for themselves to open their arms and reach out to everybody.
Yes, I know that. I follow me history of the country and I follow election right through the world. American election, I follow it. Right? And first, if a politician, especially a prime minister, uttering this nonsense, so I call it a backward statement.
But what's about when the prime minister was considering some Grenadians as classless and beggy?
Yeah.
This
is the same thing he said, you know.
But what is he telling? As if he believed the message will reach his supporters.
Exactly.
This man is firing up his supporters for bitterness and hate and fracture. That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that time you have your children in your house. Some of your children might support different party. You respect your opinion, they respect yours.
Yeah, but that is not it. Yes, caller, thank you. That is not his position. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, what's up, man?
Yes, my brother. Great, man.
Yeah, man. The thing is that I listen to the Prime Minister make such a kind of remarks, stating that we need to know our people more why the other side are getting because we don't know our people.
Well,
This is this,
all the time he was
this is
speaking, some people think he's joke.
this is the worst I ever hear as a prime minister. Deacon are telling the people he is the prime minister only for the NDC people. He's not the prime minister of the whole of Grenada. Only NDC people. This is crazy.
Some of
I
the
don't think this can
militant
happen anymore.
supporters on the ground, they're saying let them starve, let the pong
Yes,
stone in
sir.
the river. They don't want them get assistance. They say now this man is an NNP and you give him work. So the prime minister is saying, well, we don't know who the real NN. We don't know who the real
I
NDC
don't find they
is.
cannot do that, you know.
He's a wicked
No, sir.
individual. The guy is evil, I
No, because how
constantly
you could
say he's evil.
you is the prime minister of Grenada. You you is the prime minister of everybody, regardless who vote for you and who don't vote for you. You is the prime minister of for the people. What kind of dumb thing? You know, even that he doesn't think before he make go and go his way.
Those guys sit down in a lab to make this thing. If you notice, very early, one of them was saying to take a note of public officers that go to NNP activities. The teachers' union leader was encouraging them to fire NNP, that is public workers union, that is perceived to be NNP.
I don't want to
When we
know
speak about these things and the diaspora people, I tell them that contribute to Maurice Bishop doing all this wrong here. Because when Grenadians
listen.
was speaking about, they were saying we telling lies.
Yeah, some of them in the diaspora or Pierre that think they're more than the people in Grenada.
Well, they would love the classism because they believe they come out away so they're better than people here. And Deacon is promoting that. Deacon is not a fool, He's an evil
That's a
person,
dangerous
but
part.
he's a very dangerous politics at this time.
Nobody's listen. This situation has I don't know, man. Listen, for Grenada to move forward,
They're
this
turning the hand of the
decision that
clock back.
Prime Minister them
They,
are
they,
putting together with the people.
they turn the hand of the clock back.
This is the worst I ever experienced. No, sir. This is crazy.
Yeah, my brother.
I tell you when I hear this, because I said not the Prime Minister that's taking this part.
We have had
The Prime
some
Minister doing that.
we have heard some statement that is worse from him, but we don't have the proof, so we won't say it. Yes, caller. Thank you. Yes, my brother. Yes, caller. Welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good evening. Good evening to you, sir.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I just have about two questions to ask you.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, during the time, let me just load that, it's a little bit too long.
Thank you.
Right.
Giving us the feedback.
During the time when Dr. Kit Mitchell, he was on some meetings, and he was using all this kind of thing to describe Peter. I'm sure from your end, you all didn't have no problem with that. I could recall, Mr. Pierre, that was the 2008 election, 13, I can't really remember which one. I won't tell you my village, where I heard people from my village and peace reporters said, if they come back and win, those NDC people will eat dust. Mr. Pierre, that is the kind of political thing we have. Every side will...
Caller.
Yes, sir.
Caller. Did you hear that from the leadership?
You mean the people will eat dust?
Yeah.
No.
Well, caller, that is the difference. You may, within a political party, you may find militant individuals overzealous and making statements. But the leadership normally say, no, raise one people. What is going on now? The leadership in Grenada that is pushing this divisive politics. I have never heard no political leadership in Grenada except this group of NDC push divisive politics. No.
But yeah, Mr. P, I also have a question again for you.
Go ahead.
I remember listening to you over and over. I normally listen to your program. Sometimes I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
Right. You said that the present prime minister is telling a lot of lies because during his campaigning, he said certain things and he lied to the Grenadian public. Let me just give you two things that Dr. Kit Mitchell said and tell me if Dr. Kit Mitchell was lying to the people.
Go ahead.
We had found oil. I'm not going through the rest. We had found oil.
What is the next one?
The other one, we have received $100 million to uplift the water thing around Grenada. Did Dr. Mitchell lie? Thank you, Mr. P. I'm listening outside of the telephone.
Yes, caller, thank you. The question of oil in Grenada. Caller, Venezuela have oil. Trinidad have oil. Guyana have oil. Border Island in Dominica have oil. Grenada must have oil. The Tillman Thomas government went in Trinidad with the boundary delimitation with this oil issue. Kit Mitchell made this statement about oil. Deacon bring Dangote to buy oil. So what Kit said was not a lie. Now I saying this 100 million, I didn't hear how much, but this work that going on along the road, they know with Nawasa. It's millions of dollars. I don't know if it's 100. I don't know what amount to see. So definitely, Kit didn't lie about that. I went back and checked all the statements that people say is lie. And Deacon tell more lie than all leaders put together. Mr. Blaze in the 1972, I think, election, when they go unitary state, while Gary was saying, let's go little 8 and going for independence, Mr. Blaze campaigned unitary state. And they sold that people going to get same pay like that which was in Trinidad. That come out to be not true. So we say it's a lie. They say Gary say he could walk on water. And they say Gary reached on the beach, and when he reached, he prayed, and he said the time is not yet right. Well, I don't know if the time get right or what. Gary said in paradise that he's going to make boat come up the river. The alliance then says banana boat. Gary never said the banana boat, but I concede. I check all those lies. Deacon lying like when horse trotting. Yes, caller, welcome. That radio in the back, I hear him back my voice again. You have to load the radio. Load the radio. Yes, caller? All right. Caller, you have to load the radio. I know other people might want to hear, but the feedback inside here, please. And it's going to affect you. You're going to be listening to it. So load the radio. When you check all the lies, yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, my brother.
How are you, sir?
Great, man.
All right. Now, I always open up with, I'm leaving the politics out because I do the political line.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I am concerned, really, really concerned. And over the years, Mr. Pierre, I had been saying consistently that we're going down a leadership road. We are in a leadership crisis. And we need to turn around and look the citizens in the eye and admit that we are not doing well. And we need to change our ways. I want honesty. That's what I want. I want no politics. I want honesty. And to pay attention to the growth and development of the economy, putting people to work. Yeah? And I said to Mr. Boson, we're going down a V. And if we're not careful, when we reach there, it will be difficult to come back. Cost will overwhelm us. Now here we are. We're struggling. But my real concern is what we're trying to do to the young people and to the citizens. Pulling our people apart. Pulling our people apart will not be able to change the course of where we are. So I'm saying to an advice to our politicians, let us focus on doing things to our own instead of going and look for loans all the time, where the economy might not be in a position to pay back the loan, and to put our people to work. Now, to do that, you have to start with infrastructure. Let us pay attention to the expansion of our infrastructure, the upgrade of our infrastructure to give room to the private sector to expand, to create jobs. We cannot continue borrowing or putting money in the stock exchange market to raise funds and not growing the economy. That is going to put us into more difficulties. We also have to pay attention to the politics. I did advise and caution the colors. Rein in the various supporters. Bring them at peace so we can use them to grow. Because to me, the politics is the most damaging at this point in time. And if we will not get rid of the party support structure, each one knowing how much they have or how much they want, and to put this on the open market, and to cut off the colors, and to redirect the citizens, Mr. Pierre, we are in trouble. I'm cautioning because I know where this country is going. We are going to shut down. Yeah? And so I'm cautioning our politicians. Get rid of the rhetoric in politics, because say politics is all part of us and we can't get it. So get rid of the rhetoric. The games that we play with the citizens. Be serious and fast forward them to financial fortune so they will have money to spend back through commerce to raise revenue. We have to develop our people financially, and we have very little time to do this because the world is shutting down on us. Have a good day, sir.
Yes, scholar, it's a very important point you make. And it's kind of sad and unfortunate because I said the last 10 years, I thought we laid a very good foundation. I thought the government was really purposeful. The government interacted well with the press. The government tried to be all encompassing, reaching out to everybody. There was, on a regular basis, the government seems very willing to provide information. The ministers, all of them was living a very frugal and humble life, and it was accessible. We experienced COVID-19. We saw the daily interaction of Mr. Steele, the Minister of Education, Miss Modest, the Prime Minister, and other ministers ready, willing, and available to provide information. We saw the massive infrastructure assistance that was placed in education, and the amount of meetings that they held with the unions, trying to appease and work with them. So it saddens my heart that we selected a group of political neophytes, and I never expected them to be that fractious, to be that divisive. I think that Deacon is a fake. I think he acted like a vulture. I think he is really hostile against people in the lower income group. He speaks with forked tongues, he tells lies. And his last action of firing up his supporters and saying to them, why the others getting something is because we don't know who the real NDC is. I thought that is one of the saddest statements that have been made by a politician in Grenada, particularly in the capacity of the Prime Minister. It's a very divisive statement. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar,
Pierre,
welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome.
afternoon.
Yes.
I've been listening this thing with the NDC and the budget, where they're going to borrow almost, you could talk about $1 billion to help subsidize the budget. You need to open the eyes. You need to listen. You need to analyze things in the most critical way. and they will understand certain things. Now, if you're going to borrow almost 1 billion to help you with your budget, you have a debt already, maybe over 2 billion. And you're going to do that now. Well, I would say for this year, it may run partially into 2026. My question is where the government is going to get revenue for the 2026 budget. Are they going to borrow more again to read a budget? Everybody gonna jump up because it's like people doesn't understand the consequences of those things. This politician reckless behavior always have a very consequential impact on the taxpayers and even the youths that come in is the bodies on the back. And these people, they don't care anything. I am asking the Prime Minister to get out of this place that he's renting and paying almost $25,000 to $26,000 monthly. Utilize some of these monies and renovate the place that the state has for government, for Prime Minister to live. And do it with his own fancy and go there and live. The kind of make come and jump up your pants up and you're making up anything. I am telling you straight, I don't know for other people, I am not happy with the fact that you are going and rent for all these monies every year. When you count what the amount of money that you pay in rent for you to live your luxurious life, lavishly, you don't care about nobody. These monies could be utilized to assist poor people and the vulnerable, that I don't like to hear. But if you utilize these monies and help the poor people, it will be better for you, it will be better for the country. You need to come down from your high horse and stop believing and feel that Grenada belongs to you and your own Grenadians. You may own them. But I know for a fact you don't own me and you can't own me. You need to give up this rent and utilize the money wisely, and the country will see some little bit of light. Just do that. Like all I'm asking of you.
Yes, scholar, thank you. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. But the noise, you always try to load on the device in the back because you get a sudden feedback. Sometimes you have to heave out. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Senior, this is the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, Grenada, for Grenada. How you do?
Great, man.
Senior, I am flabbergasted in the sense that the statement that the Prime Minister made on the platform in his rally, I am wondering, not once I need to be judgmental, but I am wondering, Senior, and for those of you who are listening to Pastor Lewis, I'm wondering if this is a slip of the tongue by the Prime Minister, or is it something willfully that he said? Let me give the gentleman bit of the doubt. But if it is not a slip of the tongue, Mr. Dick Mitchell, Prime Minister, and it is something willfully that you said, which I believe is something willfully, but I still give you the benefit of the doubt by saying maybe it is the slip of the tongue. Now let me put you to the test, Mr. Prime Minister. If I am of the opinion on your behalf it is a slip of the tongue, then I expect you to come out and make a public apology for the statement that you have made. Because, Mr. Prime Minister, the statement that you is damaging to the population of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitomatic, which you supposed to be the Prime Minister to each and every one, isn't it, sir? It will not only damage the people of Grenada, but what it does, Mr. Prime Minister, you also, in your statement, it is so damaging that your statement also, at to distance future, can be responsible for a high rate of crime in our country. Mr. Prime Minister, you must engage your brain before you put your mouth in gear, you know. Because this statement that you made there, Mr. Prime Minister, as a young man, this thing could lead to a high rate of violence and crime in Grenada, and I will tell you the reason why. Because and I believe that you're supposed to be a learned person, but education does make people fools. I'm not calling you a fool, so I choose my word very carefully. Because when you made that statement, and you only look into one particular set of people that only support you, and you decide to give them a loan, Mr. Prime Minister, when the other set that did not support you cannot get from you, they come in after those who you give in because they also in need. You have to retract that statement. The taxpayers' money is not only for NDC that paying tax, NNP paying tax too. Mr. Prime Minister, if you do not know, you think it was only NDC supporters that get you into election. Mr. Prime Minister, are you aware that a lot of NNP supporters voted for you? That is the reason why you are in office today? And some of them are disappointed, sir. Please, I beg of you, retract that statement. Senior, the statement that the Prime Minister made, he know what he's saying, you know, and his supporters are doing the same thing. I live in St. Andrews Northwest, and I need anybody in St. Andrews Northwest who claim to be a NNP. Call Mr. Pierre, and tell Mr. Pierre how many of all you NNP get a bathroom in all your house. Call him, give all your name, and tell him exactly where all you live in. I rest my case.
Yeah, yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller? We lost that caller? Then just call back. Some of the statements, yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes.
Mr. Pierre, in relation to that statement made by Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, I'm still wondering, Mr. Pierre, because to me, the Prime Minister thinks or he feels that he would remain there forever. That is how I think about it. Because I cannot see why he would want to make such a statement. Now, we have an election coming. No doubt about it. There must be an election coming. Now, when he decides that election would be at such and such time, we know they would have rallies and meetings and whatnot. What is he and the persons that he would be selected, chosen to run in the different constituencies, what is he and these people are going to tell the persons that he leveled that statement, I won't say against you, to, because this statement was directed to NMP supporters. What are they going to tell people when the time for election comes?
They just make up some more lies.
How are you going to convince these persons that they can trust you, that you need?
The NDC has been very...
That's why I say he thinks, Mr. Pierre, he would remain Prime Minister forever. You don't, as a Prime Minister, you don't do that kind of thing. This man does not think before he speak. And we're hearing a lot of people saying that he don't take advice. How could you tell the NDC supporters to look for their people? Get to know who is their people. And I'm just paraphrasing it. Because sometimes they might be giving things to people who is not their people, who is not with them. I mean, come on. Come on, you're the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique, all Grenadians. An NMP is a Grenadian, an NDC is a Grenadian, a GULP is a Grenadian, whatever P, whatever C, whatever N is a Grenadian. You're not Prime Minister for NDC alone. So as Prime Minister, why you should be coming out and making that statement? And you know the hurtful thing, Mr. Pierre? The people clap and they applaud him. And the surrogates on the other program is what they are saying. Is what they are saying. They feel good, Mr. Pierre. They feel happy that the Prime Minister could come out and make a statement like that, could come out and say things like that. But you know what? The 5 years must come to an end. That is a must. It must come to an end. And we must have an election. I don't think he's thinking about that at all. Because you know what? In the back of his mind, he's thinking that I am the Prime Minister. And I will remain the Prime Minister. But I could tell him, if that's what he's thinking, too bad for him. Too bad for him. He will not remain the Prime Minister forever. And maybe that is the only time he will be Prime Minister in Grenada. Mr. Pierre, thank you.
Yes, caller. We're going to take one more caller. So, caller, you could pick up the telephone and give us a call. And we have time for one more caller as a roundup. And one have to... Okay. Yes, we have... one have to understand, it's not one issue. I've always said a very light on criticizing politicians because they're under there's plenty scrutiny. So I like to take a lot of things into consideration to know if what the politicians say is on the moment, like a fluke, or they're under pressure and they say something, or they excite the truth. And I'm very forgiving for that. But when you look at the NDC leadership, some of the language that come from them is classless, commoners, beggy, greedy and needy, lunatics and idiots, good people and bad people. Let them starve. Let them pound stone in the river. You know, when you hear these things, leadership ought to disassociate themselves from that. But it wasn't. Then you saw the attack on Jenny Simon. You saw the attack on the radio station in the north. You witnessed the spying on the women in parliament. There is absolutely no need for anybody to have a cameraman in parliament. Because parliament, everything you say there, the politicians say, are recorded on the handset. And it is a live show. It's like sports day. You're under the camera. So there is no need for the Prime Minister to have a cameraman in parliament. But the Prime Minister is using the cameraman to spy on the members of the opposition. That is what I believe. That is the only reason the Prime Minister. And he's going in the personal, looking at the personal phones. They're peeping in the people's phone. Now this thing, all these things taken into consideration, we're setting a dangerous precedent in Grenada. That cannot be right. And some of the individuals like my brother Ray and my brother Danley from Ticola and Ali Hadim and all these individuals that always speak up and talk about morality and good governance, do you agree with these things? No, I have to ask the question, are these guys real NDC? because the Prime Minister seems to be firing up his supporters to look for the real NDC. He's giving it the impression that if you don't show the man is an NDC, don't help him, don't give him thing. While the militant NDC on the ground internalize it, interpret it to mean let them starve. It's a very sad and unfortunate thing. Remember what the NDC told the Imani. We love you. We see you as we own children. We would not fire you. And then they fire them. And then they come back and tell the NDC, there is no need for a parallel public service. We're going to make you permanent. That is what the NDC told them, you know. There is no need for a parallel public service. We're going to make you permanent. They went and lied to the Imani again. What if they lied to the Imani the first time? They apologized, you know. And they say it wasn't politically savvy to lie to you the last time. So we're promising you permanency. You're going to get that with the stroke of a pen. Now, they're going to lie to them again. I tell you from day one, the NDC spend the time in the wilderness. When they're in opposition, they spend it planning lies and mischief. And when they come in government, they're not prepared to lead. They spend the time planning lies and mischief. So they decide to promote this classism. So a lot of Grenadians have the tendency to believe I'm more important than you, I'm better than you, I'm brighter than you, I'm more money than you. So the first thing they did was to ease up companies and people who pays tax and to go after the people in the lower income group. I think this is sad, it's unfortunate, and it's very fractious. It's very divisive. In a small country like ours, there was absolutely no need for that because the NDC came and met an economy that was well run. For the first time in history, a government took power and the treasury was not empty. And as we come to the end of the program, I want to encourage NNP supporters, don't follow NDC and be divisive. Try your best to be as tolerant, gather information, and sit down and exchange ideas with the NDC when they would listen to you. They personally attack you quick, avoid confrontation. Thank you very much. We're back with you tomorrow, but most likely on Thursday we have sports. And you know, when sports come, radio station gone. Thank you very much.
Overwhelmingly glad we are to be of our country. Foreigners have recommended it highly. Hand in hand for a better land of people who can understand class business brighter out of darkness.
Triple N. Informative.